Good evening, folks. Freddie Vasquez, Basement Politics. And tonight I will be discussing our Yonkers Public Schools. But first, a bad judgment call? Tune in. I'm Freddie Vasquez, Basement Politics. I am Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Tonight, a bad judgment call and YPS parents rally. Good evening, folks. I'm Freddie Vasquez. Coming on a little late, but coming on because I enjoyed and I want to go over some stuff here. I won't be on too long tonight. I wanted to discuss a few things. I'll be talking about the judges race. Judge race for city court judge. As many of you know, recently Judge Ada Medina was appointed by Mayor Spano to replace Judge Quiones, who went on to the Supreme Court. That also, like many of the other political happenings here in the city of Yonkers, did not go without its controversy. And YCPTA, I did bring up on my last podcast, and I did make a mistake. And I want to correct that because if I make a mistake, I must correct it. It's because I want to let everyone know that, I do intend on and always intend on making sure that I bring the facts. And if I don't, that I will correct myself. So I'll talk about that. And also, what's going on in the schools, how the schools doing. There's still some issues there with students in terms of, their behavior. And really due to the pandemic. A lot of those who I've been speaking with say there's just a slight change, a change in the students. It's not the same. And what are the school districts doing about that? So we'll discuss that a little bit, and then be on tomorrow. But I want to. Also, I'll talk a little bit about the. Anyway, I'll get into that when I get into school CSEA 91. I'm sorry, is it? I wrote it down. 9169. I'll be talking a little about that also. But anyway, going back to a bad judgment call, City Court Judge Ada Medina, who was appointed recently by Mike Spano, has decided, according to sources, to hire the services of Precision Strategies. And why is that an issue or even being mentioned? Well, Precision Strategies is owned by convicted felon Zehi Jerris, former chair of the Republican Party here in the city of Yonkers, currently a member of the Democratic Party here, a political operative. So I've got people now saying, hey, I heard about this and this is crazy. Why would a judge, associate themselves with someone who has a past like the gentleman, Zehi Jerris? Judges races are supposed to try to remain impartial and away from a lot of kind of stuff that, other elected officials going to get into. They kind of got supposed to run clean races, and, anyone and everyone associated with them should be pretty clean also. So people are wondering why. And also, why hire a campaign strategy company if there is no one to run against? There's no one that is going to enter the primary. The individual who was going to decided to drop out after having a short fuse there. He kind of just lit up for a second and then just pulled out. He seemed to have made amends, and maybe he seemed to have, gather his thoughts a little bit there and decided maybe that wasn't the right thing to do, and threw his support behind the judge. So as of yet, no one's announced their intention on running against Ada Medina in the primaries. So is there a need for a strategy company, a campaign management company? Right? And there may not even be anyone in the general election as well. I mean, that's just how it goes here. Right? Most people are not going to, there's not going to be anyone challenging. That's a fact. I could be wrong, but I'll bet you $1 no one will challenge Judge Ada Medina, and she'll slide right through this election. So why hire the services of Zahi Jeris and Precision Strategies? Some say that's part of the game. If you get tapped and you get chosen and appointed, you have to utilize the services of Zahi Jeris Precision Strategies, because that's a way to make money. It's like with Mike Breen, who's doing fundraising events. What is he raising funds for? His term is up. He hasn't announced that he will be running for anything else. Where's that money going to? Well, maybe you go right to the Republican Party. Here you go. It's fundraising for the Republicans. So, it's rather strange, some people think, because that there is no one running. There's no need for a campaign strategy company. It's owned by a convicted felon. It's a judge's race. And those who are in the know why. It's about making money. Is that what this is all about? I can't tell you for sure, but I am telling you what people are telling me. You must hire Precision Strategies as a prerequisite if you want to run here in the city of Yonkers, if you want to run and win. More to come as that develops later. Anyway, moving on. YCPTA, I made a mistake. I messed up, and I said that the president of the YCPTA did not have any student or any children that went to public schools here in Yonkers. I was wrong. Actually, and I got that mixed up because from sources, and again, I got to be weary, a little cautious here, because my wife is the third vice president, but I do not speak to my wife about any of my podcasts. She doesn't know what I'm going to be speaking about too. She watches it. So I didn't get any information from her. I get information from people who mentioned this, these things to me, and that's how I, come up with the podcast. And the person who I got my source, I confused with the president of the city council, and I tell you why, because she was, and I'll be discussing also the board of trustees. City council president was a board of trustee for the Yonkers Public Schools, who had a son who did not attend Yonkers Public School, but was on the trustees. That's what that a source was telling me there. And I just kind of think YCPTA, but I did want to also talk about them because they feel that this organization is not advocating enough. They're not advocating enough. And you see that the video that was posted on IG that was edited by Yonkers United 2021, pointing out the hypocrisy of members of the YCPTA along with members of the Yonkers School Board of Trustees, having no mask on their face. One mask was seen in the video and being held by someone, and that upset them, and they were very frustrated that our kids have to be masked up, while some other school districts have made it optional. But why? Why have other school districts made it optional? Well, one reason, and I mentioned this, is because of the involvement, maybe the resources of the parents there, because these are communities that are more affluent: Harrison, Irvington, Tuckahoe. But there's another reason, and a very important one, and that's the lack of mayoral control. In Yonkers, the mayor controls the board of trustee. He appoints the individuals, where other areas and other towns or municipalities, they are voted in by the parents, by the people. They have to listen if they want to remain on the board. But here, whose loyalty or who the school board of trustee owe their loyalty to? The parents and students of the public schools here in the city of Yonkers, or the individual that appointed them to the position? You know, I was talking to someone who, again, is involved in the city of school and gives medical advice, believes the mask mandate should come to an end, or at least should be optional. But however, he says it's the school board's choice, school board's decision. And why isn't the PTAs advocating for the parents, a large group of parents who want the mask mandates to end? As a matter of fact, that's more what I'm seeing. That's more of the consensus. When I see posts, of officials talking about mask mandates, News 12 or one of these other, news sites, the majority of the comments are in protest of the mask mandates. And they will be protesting. And I hope that everybody comes out on Wednesday at Saunders, 5:30 p.m. We're going to rally, because I'll be there. We're going to rally for the students. We're going to rally for freedom. And it's time that people start talking or start speaking out. This is not just about masks. This is in general. In our government, we have to start coming out and speaking out. So on Wednesday at 5:30, there will be a rally at Saunders. And I'm encouraging all those who are in support of ending the mask mandates to come out. There's a lot of evidence that they're going to do harm. There are medical officials even here in the city of Yonkers that agree, but it's the board of trustees. But the board of trustees don't care what the parents have to say. That's not where their loyalty lies. The parents don't get to choose the board of trustees. And that is why when you go to a school board meeting, they just sit there like, okay, yeah, whatever, next. Okay, your 3 minutes is up. Okay, next. And then as soon as the meeting is over, they go out the back. They crawl out the back. All right? They don't care. They don't care. The board of trustees is headed by President Steve Lopez, Reverend, who's also the Yonkers police chaplain. I'm not sure how much they get paid, but they do get paid. Someone mentioned they get a $50,000 stipend to do that job, to do nothing, really. I mean, what are they doing? Sources tell me that Mr. Reverend Lopez will do anything to keep his position, whatever that means. Whatever that means. Dr. Rosalba Del Vecchio, vice president. I don't believe she has any kids in the district. I could be wrong. Miss Andrea Brown is a trustee. She is the board of, and she's also the chair of Board of Diversity Action Committee, also a member of the Instructional Affairs and Personnel Committee, let me say it again, Instructional Affairs and Personnel Community Affairs Committee, longtime community leader who served as president of the NAACP here in Yonkers, serves as the mayor's African American, advisory board, or to the advisory board, and has also worked for the city council at one point in various positions within the Westchester County, within the county. Went to business school. Gail Burns, another trustee. I hear she wanted to run for office, but they said, no, you're not running. She wasn't happy about that. So they kept her as a trustee. Longtime community leader, executive director of the Yonkers Parking Authority. She manages the operations and budget of the city's parking lot, garages, and parking meters. She manages that slush fund. Serves as the city's liaison to the mayor's disability board. Also served as this director of mayor's Office of Constituent Services at one point under Spano, and served as Director of Constituent Relations for New York State Senate. Well, she can trace her roots back to the Senate as well. She's one of those. She was assisting Yonkers residents with education, housing, and quality of life. All right. Member of the board member of the YPS, Yonkers Public School. I'm sorry, this is Mr. Kevin Cacase, trustee. Another trustee. I'll mention that in a little second. Board member of the Yonkers Public Schools Occupational Education Council. What does that do? Vice president of the Queen's Daughters Daycare. You the one that's trying to stop me from opening my daycare? Huh? You don't want competition? All right. Center, in addition to the other community boards, he's the president of the Chamber of Commerce, and they recently had an event over there at the Brewing Company. I mentioned that. It was a very small little group. And I hear that also they were the ones that didn't want the Hispanic community, the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce to exist. They didn't want competition. There's a large Hispanic population here in the city of Yonkers. That's going to increase, I should say. Or they're trying to probably stop it. Probably what that's all about, these luxury buildings. Got to keep the Hispanics from growing. Right? But a large Hispanic population here in the city of Yonkers, and they wanted to kill the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, from what I am being told. And that source, it's a good source, so I believe that to be true. Mr. Cacase is also involved in policy making and strategy planning for the Chamber of Commerce, and responsible for the administration of the Chamber's city, state, and federal grants. Married, father of 3. Do they go to the YPS? I don't know. You tell me. Mr. Cacase kids in YPS? And if they are, they're probably in one of the better, of the schools. Pulaski or the Charo. Dr. John Castanado, I don't know if I said it, another trustee, a dentist, member of the advisory board, education and medical field, serving as a TA, teacher's assistant in biology at the University of Buffalo, currently serves as an attending for the Mount Sinai Dental Residency Program. Is that why they got those deals with Mount Sinai? Is that you hooking that up? Those faulty tests? Is that you? Awarded top doctor by International Association of Dentists. Miss Sheila Greenwald, no kids trustee, teaching coach, and facilitator for Bank Street College of Education, where she coached pre-K classrooms and teaching teams, facilitated workshops for school principals and supporting staff. Taught for 30 years in New York City public schools. Okay, there we go. Specializing in early childhood education. Okay, Miss Sheila Greenwald. At least someone is done teaching. Master's in Education of Science and Education. Bachelor's of Arts from Lehman College. And her husband is Judge Hal Greenwald, who's a New York State Supreme Court judge. Let me ask you this, Mrs. Greenwald. The Supreme Court ruled the mask to be unconstitutional and illegal. The New York State Supreme Court, to which your husband is a member of. Is he still a member of? That's what it still says on your bio there. But Yonkers is never up to date, so it could be off. Do you agree with that? I mean, what do you have to say about that? Since your husband is a Supreme Court judge here in the state of New York. Mr. Amajed Cooney, trustee, I didn't even get information on him. And then the newest member of the Board of Trustees, Miss Rosemary P. Linton. She replaced the city council president, Lakeisha Collins Bellamy, who was a Board of Trustee member as well. She scares me, this one here. She scares me. I'll tell you why. She currently serves as senior data scientist for Krasnov Quality Management Institute at Northwell Health, lead statistician for infection prevention, and manages hospital-acquired infection and antibiotic surveillance data for 17 Northwell facilities entered into the CDC's National Healthcare Safety Network, nation's most widely used healthcare associated infection tracing system. That scares me with everything going on. Tracing, tracking. The Yonkers Public School recently awarded a contract for almost $200,000 to upgrade their health records management system. They upgraded it to I don't know, keep more medical records, or some reason they upgraded this system, which before that was managing the IEPs of students in the Yonkers Public Schools. And now they're going to keep certain medical records and track them. And what I was imagining is that it would be booster shots and all that stuff to make sure that people are getting, excuse me, these COVID vaccines and these boosters. $180,000 contract to do this. There goes money. She got a master's in public health from Columbia University and a bachelor's of science in business administration. Appointed by the mayor, again, like I said, to replace City Council President Lakeisha Collins Bellamy, whose term would have ended in 2025. Not many people who have taught in classrooms, who truly understand the needs of our classrooms and our teachers, as well as school staff and parents. What gives them the qualifications and abilities to perform the job well? Where does their loyalty lie if they are appointed by the mayor? This is a problem for people who want to challenge things within the school district and want to speak at school board meetings and hope that they listen, which I don't think they do. It doesn't seem like they're listening. I don't know. It seems very disrespectful to me. I don't know. Could be very sensitive, right? The mayor has mayoral control of the school board. Again, he appoints them. They're not voted in. So where does their loyalty lie? And some of them go on to do bigger things or go on to other areas after being on the, you can see, city council president. She was appointed to the school board of trustees, and some say that was to get name recognition, because they knew that she would be running for city council president. Now, what's going on in the schools? Right? Well, the schools, are haven't been the same since the students have gotten back from the shutdown. For some, going into school in first grade, skipping kindergarten, it's a big it's a big transition to have to make. Difficulty to adapt, being home all day with mom and dad. Right? And so what are YCPTA? Are they having these Zoom meetings or whatever they're doing in regards to this? I know that they did include more money in the budget, and I know I spoke with Senator Shelley Mayer about that, which is very much needed, to hire more social workers as well as counselors, because they need it. The kids are having behavioral issues. Some sources are telling me even kindergartners, teachers who teach kindergartens, are having to call for assistance. And that's not to blame anybody. It's just to point that out, that this is going on. Teachers are having a hard time, struggling, dealing more with disciplinary actions than teaching. And is that why maybe so many are calling out? According to News 12, many teachers had called out 2 weeks ago. I forgot, maybe on a Friday, or I remember the exact day. A large number of teachers out. So what is, those tasked with addressing these issues doing? And maybe we should start by ending the mask mandates, because the mask, according to research, impacts children psychologically and emotionally. not just physically, not just their health. And I hear they're running around playing the snatch the mask game. They'll snatch a mask off your face. So really, how effective are the masks if they're going around doing that? And think little young kids who really don't practice wearing their mask the proper way. Because if you go on the CDC, they tell you proper mask management and how to wear it effectively so you can not get this COVID infection. But I doubt that the kids are practicing that in the schools. So why even have them wear the mask? And again, my opinion, and even some of the opinions of my sources, it comes down to money. You have to do what the state wants. Otherwise, you won't get state money. And many know that Yonkers relies heavily on state funding and federal funding in order to meet its budget. So they are going to continue to do what the state wants. And because it is a mayoral controlled school board, they're going to listen to the mayor, not the parents. So on Wednesday, it's time to rally. Another group of folks that should be rallying is members of the CSEA 9169. CSEA Unit 9169, who are having trouble getting in contact with their president. They have gone almost a year with no contract, and prior to the previous contract, they had gone 3 years without a contract. Some say they have to go maybe to local 860 and complain. But some are confused. They wonder what's going on with Alberto because he's a fighter. When I asked about him, some say he's a street guy. Like you, Freddie. He's a fighter. He's vocal. But others say that being vocal has caused problems for Mr. Velasquez. So much so that it has caused a rift in his personal relationship with family members. But he was only trying to do the right thing. He was pointing out issues within our schools, such as asbestos. And that should never be a reason why someone would be given a hard time. They should be rewarded for addressing health concerns and possibly keeping kids safe and healthy, saving them from harm. But not in the city of hills where nothing is on the level. If you try to do the right thing, you will get wronged. Some of the leadership have jumped ship. They realized when they tried to help, they were met with resistance that would turn into retaliation if they pushed the issue. This led members to say, you know what? It's not worth it. And that's what so many have done for so long. And I can understand it. Who wants problems? We have enough problems. Who wants more? Some say, I'm crazy, I'm stupid. Freddie, what's wrong with you? You want problems? No, I don't. Who wants problems, really? I don't want problems. But I also don't want things to continue the way they have been. And sometimes, in order to make change, you're going to run into some problems. But if you truly are a fighter, you keep fighting. You don't give up, pack your bags, and hop on a plane to Puerto Rico. Now, what up with those contracts for my Teamsters over at 456? Let's talk about that. I'm Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics. Thank you for joining me. Had to come on real quick, correct myself, and advocate for the people. Where the contract's at? Who's next in line? Firemen got theirs. Who is next to get their contract? I am Freddie Vasquez, and I am here to...
Let's get it poppin'.
That is right. That is Basement Politics for tonight, folks. Thank you for joining me. I am Freddie Vasquez. As always, I appreciate your time. We need more advocacy. Tonight's episode should have been titled The Lackluster Advocates. CSEA, I should say, needs a new advocate. The students of the city of Yonkers public schools need a new advocate. The entire city needs new advocates. I am Freddie Vasquez. Thank you for joining me. I will be back tomorrow.
Freddie wins. Fatality. Game over.
No!